Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here. We're here again for the 25 Reviews of Beermas. Today we are talking about one of, honestly, my favorite beers this year, Racer X Double IPA from Bear Republic. I have gone through a metric buttload of this stuff. It's super tasty, double IPA. And definitely my favorite Christmas movie, 1954's White Christmas, starring Bing Crosby. Actually, let me get these names. All of them. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen. And this is
your favorite Christmas movie of all time.
Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah.
In fact, I have the vinyl album. This is my favorite Christmas album as well. I have it downloaded. I bought on iTunes eons ago. And I have the vinyl sitting in my record player just over here. And this is what I listen to during Christmas time, is this movie. It's such a perfect movie to me for Christmas time. Awesome music, it's Bing Crosby, what do you expect? Amazing music, cool dance numbers, a heartwarming story.
And the heartwarming story doesn't technically have a lot to do with Christmas.
No,
which is really cool.
This movie simply takes place during Christmas time, which is what makes it a big deal. And they're trying to save the General's hotel, holy shit. The hotel the General owns in Vermont is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Open hearth fireplace in the dining hall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just, everything about this movie is so well done, and it's very clearly on a soundstage. It's very clear. There's a bunch of traditional movie stuff that happens on this, but again, it doesn't take away from it. This movie right now on my fucking 4K TV still looks good.
Well, and this movie actually holds up to modern times pretty well too. There's a lot of things that we've been watching this year, especially into the fall and winter season, that have not held up very well or have just felt very weird in that we're all socially distancing and wearing masks and stuff. And this movie, even though there are people obviously not wearing masks or socially distancing, it still feels right. It really taps into this wonderful feeling of Americana
that's what it is. This movie
together.
is, and I would go so far as to say Bing Crosby's movies are really a point in Americana in the 50s, post World War II, where and during World War II, where these movies really try to bring people joy with show and dance and music. And the opening number where Bing Crosby and his partner are helping the sisters escape, and they put on the record of the sisters' song, right? And they put the little blue butterflies in their hair, and they wear the little sashes and the little neckerchiefs, and they're dancing with the fans and stuff. And the audience is having a great time, even though it's two incredibly famous late night show, dance show kind of guys, dancing and singing this sisters song about ain't no mister for my sister and whatever the heck.
Yeah.
And it's so heartwarming. It's so adorable. This movie is so good.
Well, and there's also hijinks.
Oh, there's so many hijinks. And there's a lot of that. There's this witty retort in this movie that you kind of don't get anymore in movies, where there's a lot of this where Crosby will say something and his partner will say something back, and then he'll say, and there's this back and forth, and it's these two act together like they're a married couple. You know what I'm saying? Where they're just, it's this back and forth, and they're giving each other jabs and hijinks and all this, and it's good. It makes for a fun viewing experience. If you have not seen this movie, it's available on Netflix, which is where we watched it. Do yourself a favor and watch it this Christmas. Yeah, I know it's older. Yeah. I know it's not the classics, as it were.
And if you like a retro vintage 50s style silhouette, or even a rockabilly style silhouette, let me tell you, the costuming in this movie is top notch. It hits every beautiful piece of 40s, 50s, 60s style there that's vintage in the most perfect of ways. Yeah. And is so well done, because it's done during the time that stuff
was done
popular,
in the
right?
50s. Yeah, exactly. And there's jokes, and the songs aren't just we're gonna sing this Christmas song. The song seems like it's a part of the story. Yeah. The what is it, the third or fourth song where they're on the train and they're talking about snow, and like getting down to the snow, getting up to the snow in Vermont and like playing in the snow and all this kind of stuff. That song and the way that they shoot the song is clearly, it's part of the story, but it's like a soliloquy is the way that I look at the songs in this. It's sort of like the song's part of the story, but it's also just slightly aside from the main plot, and it makes for a fantastic time.
So, what's your favorite part of this movie?
So, before we get into best bits, this is 8.3% double IPA from Fair Republic.
I guess we should talk about the beer, right?
Nice and clear, 8.3%. It's hop forward. It's super tasty. I love the hop profile on it. I know, and I've mentioned this in previous ones, I work for Bear Republic, and there are Bear Republic beers that I drink more often than other Bear Republic beers, and this is, for me, this fall, Racer X has been like one of my big go-tos. It's a good beer, and it comes in a 16-ounce can, which works perfectly for like, this is the appropriate size for drinking, is 16 ounces.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I super love this beer. I highly recommend it.
It's a
go out and
double IPA.
Yeah, it's a good crisp double IPA.
It's not too much of anything. It's just right.
Yeah.
Just like this movie.
It's not unbalanced like you're getting a lot nowadays and a bunch of stuff. But no, so best bits for this movie, man, that's really hard. My favorite song from the album is Christmas in Killarney, primarily because that might be my favorite Christmas song of all time. But I feel like best bits for this movie is probably the snow song on the train, because they do this fantastic thing where like while they're singing, they're making the train sounds with their mouths and they're banging on the table, and like at one point in time the guy like pulls his napkin out and like pops a couple of branches off the Christmas tree and like sets them down on the napkin, and the girl pulls her blue napkin and hangs it behind, and the camera jumps over to showing this like set snow piece, right? Like miniature set snow piece or whatever that that just happens for the song. I mean, and it's the idea that like four creatives would be singing together on a train like that, and they're not just singing, but they're actively acting out the song just for their own entertainment, and for me that's the thing is all the practices, all the singers and creators being creative in it. That to me is the best bit of this movie. It's just the creativity by which Bing Crosby and his other cast members create within the story is for me the best bit. What about you? What's the best bit?
My best bit is actually when they're hatching the plan for the false engagement. So it's it's the girl and the guy, and they're like, oh no, my sister and your buddy are like super in love, but my sister feels like she can't love anyone because she needs to be protecting me and whatnot. And so she's like, what if we decided to get engaged? Then my sister can be with your friend and everyone will be happy. And he's just like, oh, I guess this isn't the worst thing. And she's like, come on, what are you talking about?
She's getting smoozy on him, and he's just like,
and he's just
and he's like, I guess I'll be trapped. I mean, engaged for only a week, so it's not that bad of a deal. He is such a fantastic comedian with his face and the way he delivers lines.
And it's not just a funny scene, but usually this kind of thing happens in a movie, and it catapults those two characters in the movie together, which this doesn't really do.
I mean, insofar
like
as
a little
both
bit
of them,
it does.
Both of the couples are going to end up being couples.
But not as overt as in a lot of more modern movies. But usually when you see something like that, where it's like a false engagement or a false love or pregnancy or something like that, it usually when someone finds out, they're upset and they're hurt, and then that puts them through this time where they have to like rebuild trust with the characters that they were deceiving. And that doesn't really happen here, which I think is actually really cool, because the people who were being deceived were like, why did you think this was okay?
Modern story would use it as a Chekhov's gun.
Exactly.
As opposed to simply
and I like
a plot
that
point.
It was lighthearted about this thing, and the reason for the deception was for the happiness of the other people, as opposed to like filling a bet, which is what you would see in a much more modern story.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a really cool way that they did that is unusual in books and cinema.
Yeah, definitely. No, this is I mean, it's 1954. It's a classic. It's Bing Crosby. Holy hell, if you don't listen to him for Christmas music, music, like, do yourself a favor, look it up. It's all on YouTube. Find the songs, listen to them, watch the clips from the songs from the movie. You're gonna enjoy it. I guarantee it. Especially if you're a big Christmas fan. But yeah, either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Jive. This has been the 25 Reviews of Beermas. This one's a little long because I love both of the things we're talking about. We were talking about Racer X, Double IPA from Bear Republic, and White Christmas starring Bing Crosby from 1954. Both are fantastic. You should have a little bit of both in your life. So don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, and we'll catch you guys on the next time.
Yeah.
Merry Beers to all, and to all a good pint.